when I became a professional playing in clubs in New York, you know, my early memories are helping the piano player move his suitcase to the gig, you know, and then we had to put the actual keyboard on top of the suitcase and figure out how to get that sustain pedal to line up. That took always a half an hour. But it was always worth it. And you knew it was a real Rhodes that had some seasoning because there was always a key that was burnt up by a cigarette that somebody had left on one of the keys. You know, it had a little brown circle in it. That's how you knew it was a real seasoned Rhodes. Anyway, when I started making music on my own, producing, the Rhodes was an integral part of what I was doing. You know, I used it. It was kind of my first choice before I even thought about an acoustic piano. You know, so David Sanborn, the stuff I did with Miles Davis, Luther Vandross, we used a lot of Rhodes. And what was beautiful about it was that it finally gave the piano players a way to join in with the electric thing. In the 60s, you know, there was a Wurlitzer, but the Rhodes had a different sounds, a little bit more strong, and it really meshed well with the electric guitars, electric bass, and the way they were beginning to record drums was different, and the Rhodes just fit in there perfectly. But it also had a transparency that was beautiful. It allowed you to hear all the other instruments. When you use acoustic piano, the sound is so full, there's not a lot of room for you to really clearly hear the other instruments. But with the Rhodes, you heard all the harmony you needed to hear, but it still had a clarity that we really loved. So it was a great time for the Rhodes. The samples come close to capturing the Rhodes, but the thing about a Rhodes is it's a real instrument. And the thing that's always great about a real instrument is that every note is not uniform, right? There's some notes that are a little bit more dead, some notes that are bright, they ring, some notes are a little flat. You know, that's what gives an instrument character. That's what gives a saxophone its character, is that every note is a different thing. On a synthesizer, every note is basically the same thing, and it doesn't have the same character. And it's the same thing with the Rhodes. When you're sitting there at a Rhodes, first of all, each one sounds different. Every Rhodes has its own character. There are guys who insist on creating their own Rhodes to the session or to the gig because it has a sound that they like. So the real thing is nothing like the real thing, you know. But, you know, in a pinch or when you just want the Rhodes for the color and you don't need as much personality, we'll use a sample. But if the Rhodes is the main thing, man, we'll pull out the real thing.